The H1B Guy here, and today, the H1B Guy news for the week ending October 9th, 2020. But before we get started, I'd like to ask you, if you haven't already, to please subscribe to the H1B Guy channel here on YouTube. It helps me to produce more content like this for you. I also wanted to mention that the H1B Guy offers a variety of consulting services. If I can help you bridge the gap between your employer and your immigration attorney, please reach out to me. I'd love to hear how I can help you. I also wanted to thank everyone who's taken the time to reach out to me over the last couple of weeks. Really appreciate all of your words of support and encouragement. I've also been very fortunate to assist several of you as you navigate your current case and help you decide what's best for you and your families. Thank you for trusting me with your livelihood. In case you noticed, for the first time in over 3 months, there was not an episode of the H1B Guy News last week. I took a few much needed days off, and very important to do that. But now, the news. September 28th, 2020. In an article written by Taylor Soper for Geek Wired titled, Amazon expanding in Canada will add another 3,000 jobs in Vancouver and 500 in Toronto. Quote, Amazon said it will hire 3,000 corporate and tech employees at its Vancouver hub and 500 in Toronto. Amazon is preparing to move into more than 1.1 million square feet of space at Quad Reels, the post redevelopment in Vancouver. Amazon has since gobbled up more office space at the site and plans to have more than 6,000 employees there once construction is completed. Vancouver ranks as one of the top tech talent markets in the US and Canada, with some of the lowest wages according to a July report from CBRE. Amazon announced last month that it would add 3,500 tech jobs in Dallas, Denver, Detroit, New York City, Phoenix, and San Diego. Amazon's announcement Monday also comes as other companies rethink the physical office and remote work amid the pandemic. Here's a continuation of the conversation we've been having about Canada being an attractive option for US tech companies. I would go as far to say that Amazon is the number one tech giant in the US. Of course, that's debatable, but just my opinion. Earlier in the week, a reader of the blog, the H1BGuy.com, sent me an article that was reporting 37,000 Americans have had their job outsourced during the pandemic. As I've been saying, this is the untold truth and the worst possible outcome. If you want to end the cheap labor debate, you have to start with imposing restrictions on U.S. companies that are outsourcing American jobs during the pandemic. In Amazon's case, this was planned pre-COVID, but it still illustrates the severity of the human capital war we are battling here in the U.S. October 6, 2020. In an article written by Stuart Anderson for Forbes titled, Lawsuit Alleges USCIS has acted in bad faith against H-1B spouses. Quote, the plaintiffs argue H-1B spouses cannot renew their H-4 employment authorization documents, EADs, because USCIS changed procedures to prevent the spouses from working in the United States. The plaintiffs say USCIS added an unnecessary biometrics requirement and adopted an erroneous interpretation of government regulations by prohibiting automatic extensions for H-4 work authorization. Plaintiffs' attorneys assert Trump administration officials wanted to eliminate the regulation that allows the spouses of many H-1B visa holders to work, but after failing to do so, instead changed its policies to accomplish the same goal. Per plaintiff's attorney, Brad Bionis of Wasden Bionis LLC. The biometrics is not for security reasons, since USCIS has previously said these are not risk factors for H-4 spouses, notes Bionis. USCIS claims it needs the biometrics for identity purposes, but these are renewals and identity was previously established, said Bionis. He notes that ironically, USCIS requires biometrics for H-4 spouse renewals, but not for the principal H-1B visa holders, which he believes points to the contrived nature of the requirement. Congress recently expanded premium processing to include employment authorization to allow for a $1,500 extra fee to process a case in 15 calendar days. However, that would not solve the problem for H4 spouses, particularly due to the biometrics requirement. One solution would be for USCIS to permit automatic extensions. Quote, the regulations on their face allow for automatic extension for the H4 EAD pending a renewal, said John Wasden of Wasden Bionis LLC. This would alleviate the entire backlog of H4 EAD claims nationwide. Approximately 230 affected individuals have joined the lawsuit, but the number of spouses could be in the tens of thousands who are potentially affected by USCIS policies that delay the adjudication of H4 employment authorization. The Trump administration is weaponizing delays against people who it doesn't want to work in America, said Brad Bionis. That's wrong, and we think there's a good chance we can win this case and stop that from happening. For those of you who have followed this channel, know that we've covered Stuart Anderson several times. I wanted to read a good bit of the article to emphasize several key points. 1. Yet another lawsuit challenging President Trump's administration's actions toward immigration benefits, specifically against USCIS. 2. More double standard interpretations from USCIS, this time surrounding biometrics for dependents. Requiring the H4 EAD, but not the H1B spouse, to be required to have a new biometrics makes no sense. 3. H4 EAD requires a card in hand in order to have workforce authorization. How do you remove thousands of EADs from the workforce? Simply slow play their extensions and not allow for automatic renewals. Think about the thousands of H4 EADs who are on the front lines battling this pandemic and are now on the sidelines due to delayed processing times and the biometrics requirements. We'll continue to monitor this lawsuit, but I thought it was interesting to see the plaintiff's attorney definitely appears to be confident in their case. October 6, 2020. In an article written by Nick Muroff for the Washington Post titled Trump Administration Says It Will Further Tighten Rules for Foreign Workers Using H1B. Quote, Trump administration officials said Tuesday that they will make further restrictions to the H-1B visa program that businesses use to hire foreign workers for specialized occupations, a move that U.S. technology companies have fiercely opposed. The changes will make U.S. companies pay higher salaries to the workers, tightening hiring rules that determine their eligibility and increase regulation by the Department of Labor and the Department of Homeland Security. Quote, in DHS's history, we have never done as much in the H-1B space as we are announcing today, said Ken Cusinelli, the senior officer performing the duties of the DHS Deputy Secretary. Cusinelli and Patrick Pizzelli, the Deputy Labor Secretary, told reporters that measures were being implemented using an expedited process because of the coronavirus pandemic's impact on the U.S. workforce. With millions of Americans looking for work and as the economy continues its recovery, immediate action is needed to guard against the risk that lower cost foreign labor can pose to the well-being of U.S. workers, Pizzella told reporters on a conference call. I wanted to cover this article because of the quotes included from Cusinelli and Pizzella that really cover a lot of different aspects as to what the agenda is for the administration. There are a lot of solid pieces out there that are reviewing the H-1B interim final rule and its impact in more depth, but I thought these quotes were intriguing. No matter which side of the debate you find yourself on, the current administration is very boldly using the pandemic to rewrite our current immigration laws. As we've discussed many times, this is the responsibility of Congress and not the president. As we covered on Wednesday during the H1B Guy Live unedited unscripted Q&A 4, the three biggest takeaways from the interim final rule are: 1, the type of degree for the occupation is going to play a vital role in approval. 2. 1-year extensions only for H-1Bs working on a third-party worksite. And 3. Prevailing wages will be increased by 28% across the board. With that being said, a pro bono lawsuit is already in the works, and I'm sure others will quickly follow to challenge this interim final rule in courts. The impact of this IFR will be felt far and wide. And it's not just the thousands of H-1Bs currently working in the U.S., but the employers who now face the possibility of a 28% wage increase. More frequent filings create more revenue. The revenue projections based on the IFR are listed for public consumption. More frequent filings also increases the probability of more denials. I'm all for eliminating fraud, but this employment persecution for thousands of H-1B workers working and contributing to the U.S. economy is just not right. Look for more on the H-1B IFR next week. For the full post on the H1B Guy news for October 9th, 2020, please check out the h1bguy.com. If you haven't already, I'd like to ask you to please like this video, please subscribe to the H1B Guy channel here on YouTube, and click the bell for notifications so that you're notified anytime a new post goes up here on this channel. If you've made it this far, I just want to say thank you for taking the time to watch my content. Your support really means a lot. The H1B Guy, your global source for all things H1B.